And March is about madness. It's about chaos. We love the upsets. We love the buzzer beaters, Cinderella stories. But this year, it's different. No mid-major darlings, no double-digit seeds crashing the Final Four. It's 4 number 1 seeds, Houston, Duke, Auburn, Florida. People are disappointed. But you have the 4 best teams in the country. Imagine any other sport where you go, man, I'm looking for somebody out of nowhere to play for the championship. We do that with March Madness, but you don't do that in most sports. Now, Arizona Diamondbacks were a nice story. We do like those nice stories, and we have had incredible upsets. Go back to the Miracle Mets in 1969. The Jets when they won the Super Bowl III. We like that. But Cinderella stories are fun, but greatness is what we remember. Villanova's buzzer beater, the UCLA dynasty. Go back through history, all of those great teams, Duke, UNLV. It's not your ideal March Madness. It's not what we, expected. But I think you got the best teams fighting for the title, and that's still must-see TV. I've always said, give me madness, give me chaos until the Elite Eight. And then I want to see the best teams in basketball. Now, NC State last year was a wonderful story. Great story. Knocked out Duke. If you're that good, and I just want to make sure that you complete the mission. If you're a double-digit seed, if you're a mid-major, that you get a chance to play. Butler got to play for a couple of national titles. I like that storyline. It's even better if they win the title, but in this case, you have the 4 seeds. I don't think anybody was surprised. I think those 4 seeds stood above everybody else the entire tournament, but this is what this is about, the best teams right now. And what you're finding is with the Blue Bloods, the powerhouses, they're taking away the players from the mid. They're almost stealing the mid-major's thunder by taking the mid-major player. Therefore, the mid-major can't make a run because they've wised up finally and said, do we just want to recruit freshmen or do we want to take somebody who's already battle-tested? And this is what I've said about John Calipari for years. John, congratulations. You got another recruiting class that's going to make billions of dollars in the NBA. You need to have some players help out those freshmen because this time of the year, you play different, you coach different. And you see that with a lot of these teams. Now, Duke's an anomaly. They have 3 players who are going to be lottery picks, and they're freshmen. But a lot of these other players, you have transfers, and you also have juniors and seniors who are providing that much-needed leadership here. But yes, March Madness, maybe not the madness, but it's still going to be great to see the 4 best teams play for the championship. And I don't know, if you pose that as a question, are you disappointed with this year's March Madness? Are you disappointed that we have 4 seeds, the top seeds, and they're going to play for the championship? I'm not. Do I want to see a little more madness earlier? Yes, I do. And we didn't see that. But once again, you got Florida, you got Duke, Houston, and Auburn. And you're seeing different rosters, but you're also seeing these teams, for the most part, who do have some players who have played before, and maybe they played somewhere else. And I think that's the interesting part of this is they're taking away the mid-major. Florida survives Texas Tech. Duke rolls Alabama. Houston, big winner over Tennessee, and Auburn over Michigan State. So the odds this morning, according to DraftKings, Duke is favored by 4.5 against Houston, and Florida favored by 2.5 against Auburn. When you're watching a game, just like when I was watching John Calipari in Arkansas blow a double-digit lead, you're watching it in real time, and you can kind of see and sense and watch the momentum shifting. And you got to see that with the Florida game against Texas Tech. Texas Tech was playing great. Took it inside. They were dominating. Double-digit lead. And then all of a sudden, there's a play, and then there's a play, and then there's a play, and then all of a sudden they've hit 3 three-pointers in a row. And then you start to watch, and as I've said many, many times on this program, way too many times, if a game is on the line, I don't want to let that star player take the shot. Whatever it is, I will not let Walter Clayton Jr. III take those shots. It might be the second best or third best player. I will not let that guy beat me. He had 30 points, second 30-point game in the tournament, He had 33 last year in the round of 64 when he was at Iona, but he's a great shooter. He's a streaky shooter. He is a fearless shooter. Never let the best player beat you. Never. Never understood that you let that guy have the ball, go double him. Maybe you do a box and one. I cannot let him take those shots because he is as good as anybody, if not better than anybody in the tournament at taking those shots under pressure. Texas Tech had this. They did. Florida didn't seem to have answers until they did. And then Texas Tech didn't have answers. But these moments, like Texas Tech is going to the Final Four. And then all of a sudden, the camera work was great because then they would focus in and you got to see it was draining. The lead was draining and you know the color in your face was draining. It went from Texas Tech red to white. And you're like, oh my gosh, we're going to blow this. Houston's going to play great defense. They're not exciting. They play great defense. Got some players who've been there for a while with Kelvin Sampson. He's a great coach. Auburn over Michigan State. And that was fun to watch. Yeah. Bruce Pearl's done a wonderful job. And then Duke over Alabama. It's one of those where you go, Duke's probably going to pressure the perimeter so they don't get to shoot these threes. Yeah, they've done a really good job here. And Alabama did have some looks and had some shots, but Duke is a really good defensive team. Like, you want to talk about offense and defense, they're like the Philadelphia Eagles. You know, they're a great offensive team. 3 lottery picks, Cooper Flagg, unselfish, and defensively they get after it as well. Every Duke team has prided themselves in their defense.